inside Iran as well, going after that infrastructure. That it's gonna rub a lot of people the wrong way. But listen, if you don't want to come to the negotiating tables, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Official confirming to Fox News that the Israelis have started strikes against Iranian rail infrastructure. Remember, earlier today, the Israelis warned civilians to stay off the trains in Iran. They have started to target the bridges of the rail system in Iran as we speak. Additionally, you have these strikes overnight against Karg Island, the largest export facility in Iranian territory, accounting for around 90% of Iran's oil exports. And you have ongoing U.S. and Israeli strikes against Iranian military infrastructure. What we are looking at right now is a staging operation. The United States and Israel are preparing. If a deal is not made, there will be an increase in strikes against the Iranian regime. The president described it as Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, to go after this critical infrastructure inside of Iran. But what's very interesting here, I spoke with a high-ranking source last night, and I asked what happens next if the president orders these strikes. And they said, again, this is the Achilles heel of the regime, targeting energy infrastructure. And what it may actually do is force their hand at the negotiating table. Because, again, the president has time and time again, even before Operation Epic Fury began, preferred a diplomatic option. But the Iranians have been unwilling to take a diplomatic option, and that is how we ended up in this Operation Epic Fury that is unfolding before our eyes as we speak.
So that's Trey Yingst, his reporting this morning. There will be others that will say, okay, if we go after their energy infrastructure, guess what happens? They're going to go after all of our allies' energy infrastructure, talking about UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and so on. And then we're going to have oil prices soaring to, what, $200 a barrel. It's going to be insane. It could be. Maybe this is the pressure that's needed. Maybe they're the death cult we thought they were, and this is just going to drive them a little bit more insane than they already are. Who knows? What do you think is going to happen next? 615-737-9986. That's 615-737-9986. I'd love to see what you're thinking about this morning as these strikes are unfolding. Last night on True Social, there was a statement by the president and reporting that Iran is trying to get some kids to jump in and be human shields. Trey Yingst was talking about this earlier on Fox as well.
Again, I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran.
Hey, Trey, also, Iran is urging, this is what I had heard from another agency, a news agency earlier, urging their youth to gather as human shields and form these human chains around the power plants.
Yeah, I saw those reports as well. If they do that, that is illegal under international law. You can't use human shields on the battlefield. But we should note here a few things as it relates to the president's post on True Social. What the president knows and what the public knows are two very different things.
Bingo.
There are a lot of conversations and preparations going on behind the scenes. Even as we are talking right now, a very high-ranking source just sent me a screenshot of the president's post here and is typing.
I mean, this stuff it's going to be developing all day long. The story this morning is going to be completely different when we get to the afternoon and what that looks like. And what does this evening look like? Who knows? Who knows? It is a developing story, one that we are definitely going to be keeping our eyes on. Donald Trump addressed a lot of this last night when he did the White House press briefing. But it's a tense situation, I think is the best way to. It's a little tense. Donald Trump yesterday didn't mince words during the White House press briefing, and he talked about the Iranian regime and the country as a whole. And he says, guys, we could take this in one night, and that night might be tonight. This was the president yesterday during the White House press briefing.
American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country can be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
Would you be sweating bullets if you're the Iranian regime? I don't know. I think that I think they actually fancy this kind of stuff. I think they're here for it. I don't think that they're sweating bullets. I think that they're ready to die. It's a dangerous combination. Donald Trump also went into the rescue that took place over the weekend. It was an absolutely miraculous rescue. Unbelievable what our military was able to do, and he revealed a bit more in the details.
Authorities, many, on top of everything else, they told the communities actually within inside of Iran, the people of Iran, they were given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. Despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. You want to go as far away because they all head right to that site. You want to be as far away as you can. And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper-type apparatus that is on them at all times.
I mean, think about that. Not only is the IRGC looking for you, but they give the word to the locals as well. Hey, maybe there's a reward in it for you if you can find this soldier who is bleeding profusely and scaling a mountain, treating his own wounds. What an absolute boss.
And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout. And he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher and really very, very hard to find. The second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge.
I mean, the scope and scale of that rescue operation, unbelievable. As the president unveiled more details behind it. He also said that when it came to Iran, that they and I quote here, they discombobulated the crap out of them.
We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas, so we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's an amazing thing. I was listening to these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing, and Pete Hegseth was amazing. But I listened to the whole thing. It was pretty amazing. So they had all these different sites where everybody thought he was located. We think we have him over there because they have 9 planes circling a little area that's 25 miles down the coast. So in a breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force, America's military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind.
I mean, it's truly a remarkable rescue. And you think about the deception campaign that the president's laying out there. We're 25 miles away. You have helicopters circling to make it appear as if that's the area where the weapons systems officer was located is brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's unbelievable. And it could only be done by the greatest military in the world, ours. And God bless him for the operation to save that weapons systems officer instead of letting him fall into enemy hands. The president went on to then tell a story about how U.S. forces had to rebuild helicopters in less than 10 minutes behind Iranian lines.
Couldn't have lived without them. They did, and they performed unbelievably well. And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it. They came off the plane, and these guys had them, the rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes. And that was one of the more amazing things. These are helicopters, small, unbelievably powerful, but small, very small, so it can get into certain areas. And they got them off the plane, and they rebuilt all three of them in a matter of less than 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing.
Yes, very amazing. The rescue almost didn't happen, by the way. The rescue almost got screwed over by a leaker, and Donald Trump is now going after that leaker and says that they will face jail time for leaking this. Listen to this.
As you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour. Then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker.
So the issue was that there were two soldiers behind enemy lines, and they didn't want them to know that there were two. They wanted to have that element of surprise that there wasn't a second one. So they didn't release that they had found the first one, but the leaker did. President Trump is not happy.
And talked about there's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released it, and we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail. And we know who, and you know who we're talking about, because some things you can't do. Because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for the pilots and for the people going in to search for him. All of a sudden, they know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation because a leaker leaked that we have one, we've rescued one, but there's another one out there that we're trying to get. So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. So in addition to a hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military, we had millions of people trying to get an award.
So the leaker, per the New York Post, was a reporter named Amit Siegel. Now, the outlet that published that the U.S. had only saved one of the two F-15 airmen, risking the mission to save the second, was Israel's Channel 12, per the New York Post. The reporter, again, Amit Siegel, and he told the New York Post that he will protect his sources despite the president's threat. It's an interesting wrinkle, isn't it? It wasn't a U.S. reporter that leaked it. It was an Israeli reporter that leaked it. I wonder how our greatest ally will deal with this. Will they give him up? Siegel says he's not giving up his sources. He said he will protect the sources. He cited Western sources in his post as opposed to U.S. sources. And a second Israeli reporter, Ariel Kahana, later specified the news came from Israeli sources. Now, President Trump said he's hell-bent on getting that leaker. I wonder how that looks in real life. Do the Israelis turn him over? Probably not. Probably not. It's a crazy story. We'll be paying attention to it. I got more on the way from President Trump's press briefing. Don't forget, in a little over an hour, we're going to be joined by the wife of the Secretary of the Interior, Doug Bergam. Her name is Katherine. She is leading the Great American Recovery Initiative, co-chairing that alongside Bobby Kennedy. Maybe you've heard of him. And she's going to be in studio to talk with us about the Great American Recovery Initiative. A lot to get to, a little bit of time. It's 9:24. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at USS United Structural Systems, the guys that have been waterproofing your basement, your crawl space, and protecting your foundation since 1994. Spoiler alert, if you're new to Tennessee, or if you just forgot. rain season is coming. And if you have waterproofing issues in your basement or your crawl space, you are going to be having headaches here over the next couple of months. What do you need to do? You need to call USS today and get the leak fixed right away. You've seen it getting into the basement. You've seen it getting into the crawl space, and you think, I'll deal with it down the road. And the water dries up. You think the problem goes away, but every time the rain comes back, so does the problem. Stop going through that cycle. Call United Structural Systems today. If you don't, that water getting into your basement or crawl space is going to lead to bigger problems down the road. Maybe some mold. You don't want your family breathing in that. Maybe it starts to rot the wood that is in the crawl space or in the basement, which leads to foundation issues. That is a bigger problem, my friends. Don't let it become bigger. Call USS today. For more than 30 years, USS has helped homeowners across Tennessee repair their foundations and waterproof their crawl spaces and basements. They are the absolute best. You can visit USSTN.com or you can call them today for that peace of mind. 615-488-7855. 615-488-7855. USSTN.com.
Hey, this is Pastor Al, and join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
Coming up, we'll tell you what exactly has been destroyed in airstrikes at Carg Island this morning. It's coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. Headlines on the way. Donald Trump yesterday, he asked the media to stop asking for his secret plans.
People that are so you just saw two great, and John Ratcliffe, three unbelievable people. They have a plan. Every single thing has been thought out by all of us. But I can't reveal the plan to the media. So, but we're just thrilled by the success of this operation. Yes, please.
We can't reveal the plan to the media. Then a hilarious moment happened in the press briefing because they said we can't reveal the plan to the media. And then the media asked a specific question about the rescue mission, and General Dan Raising Cane had to step in.
Military that said it's a wise. And don't forget, how many men did you send altogether, approximately? For the operation?
I'd love to keep that a secret.
Okay, well, we are. But I will tell you, the number.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you the plan. How many guys was it? Sir, I'd like to keep that a secret. Fair enough. We'll bring you more from the press briefing yesterday with the president, along with statements from Secretary of War Pete Hegseth next. It's 9:31. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is 9:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories and explosions reported on Iran's Karg Island this morning. And among the sites hit were bunkers, a radar station, and ammunition storage. Fox News' Trey Yingst says those sites were chosen because President Trump understands that the Islamic regime's greatest vulnerability is in its energy infrastructure.
The president understands that when it comes to the Iranian regime, the two things that are keeping this regime afloat are their energy infrastructure that is used to funnel money to the IRGC and the weapons that are currently being used against U.S. forces and allies across the region, and the oil infrastructure.
President Trump has threatened Iran with more strikes if it doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz by tonight. The two airmen whose F-15 crashed in Iran this week are reportedly doing well and being cared for at Landstuhl Hospital in Germany.
Both the pilot and the weapons systems officer are in Landstuhl, Germany, and they will soon be en route to the United States. I'm told the pilot is in good shape and that the second crew member is a bit more banged up but will recover.
That's Jennifer Griffin at Fox News. She says they'll be making their way back to the U.S. soon. And the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency is investigating after a Tullahoma man died at Timms Ford Lake over the weekend. Police were called to the lake about 5:30 on Sunday. 24-year-old Blake Lewis had fallen off a paddle-style vessel on the lake. Witnesses said he struggled to swim and couldn't reach the flotation devices thrown to him by a friend. His body was recovered several hours later. That is the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Aaron Parker over at Parker Safes and Vaults in Shelbyville. You've heard me talk about these guys for a while. They're our veteran-owned, family-run safe and vault door business right here in Middle Tennessee. And let's be honest, a lot of us want a safe. But we've been putting it off because we got to figure out which one to get, where to buy it, where to put it, and how to get it installed. This is exactly what Aaron and his sons take care of. They're going to help you choose the best safe for your needs and your budget, offer advice on the best place to put it, then deliver it and carefully install it discreetly and professionally. These guys are the total pros. You can start figuring out what safe is right for you on their YouTube page. You search Parker Safes on YouTube and you'll find a detailed review of every safe they have in stock. And they have some amazing safes. So these aren't average big box store cabinets. They're quality brands like American Security, Rhino, Liberty, Heyman, and more. And they've got some great deals right now and plenty of safes in stock and ready to go. Don't put it off any longer. Call Aaron today, 931-842-6445, or you can check out the whole inventory online at parkersafes.com. That's parkersafes.com. And if you mention Chris Hand, you're going to get a free pistol safe while supplies last when you purchase a safe. parkersafes.com. 939 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Word on the street, things in Iran about to get real. Have you heard that?
Bit explosive.
Whole civilization will die tonight, according to President Trump, if they don't get to the table and make a deal. Trey Yingst was reporting on this a little while ago, that we have seen more attacks on Karg Island, strategic attacks, and officials are now saying that striking Iran's energy and oil facilities is the Achilles heel of the Islamic regime.
Defense official telling me just now the Islamic regime's greatest vulnerability is energy. They describe the energy system in Iran as the Achilles heel for the Islamic Republic because roughly 50% of Iran's GDP is based on their energy program. And this is part of the reason that the president is focusing his threats on the energy infrastructure inside of Iran. The president understands that when it comes to the Iranian regime, the two things that are keeping this regime afloat are their energy infrastructure that is used to funnel money to the IRGC and the weapons that are currently being used against U.S. forces and allies across the region, and the oil infrastructure. And as Fox can confirm, overnight, dozens of U.S. strikes targeted Karg Island, where 90% of Iran's oil exports are located. This gives you a sense that the United States is looking once again to send a final message to the Iranian regime. The president on Truth Social just moments ago sending a final message to the Iranian regime.
Yeah, he sure has. And certainly we were talking about an escalation.
Yeah, it looks like an escalation. It looks like things are escalating fast. We have dozens of overnight strikes on Karg Island. Fox News with a bit more here.
Good morning, Dana. The targets struck on Karg Island included bunkers, a radar station, and ammunition storage, and were carried out solely by the U.S., not by Israel. Some of these sites had been struck in the past. A senior U.S. official tells me, quote, "This is a message to the Iranians. I'm told among the 50 military targets, landing docks used by oil tankers were not intentionally targeted and only would have been struck if the Iranians fired out from next to them." Meanwhile, we are learning more details about the dramatic rescue of...
So the targets that are being struck on Karg Island do not have anything to do with the oil infrastructure, as you heard there from Fox News, but it is a message nonetheless. And the message is, we could if we wanted to. And I think that message is being delivered loud and clear to our friends in Iran because they're responding in tune. They are now forming human chains in front of a power plant in a bid to dissuade President Trump's airstrikes tonight at 8 Eastern. If you're watching us on Super Talk TV, you'll see this video of a human chain of people. It looks like women, I'm assuming because of the burqas, but it looks like women and children in front of this power plant, and this chain goes on and on and on. And it's not just the power plants. They're also doing this on bridges. White Bridge inside Aves, Iran, has now been crowded with people and children, they say, to send a message to President Trump. Message is, please don't bomb us. I mean, it's dark, man. They're using kids as human shields. The kids don't have any idea, I would imagine, why they're there. But what do you think? I mean, do we? You can't strike a bridge with a bunch of people on it, right? Or I don't know, man. It gets dicey. I mean, the war crime implications that are there, striking civilian infrastructure. I heard Dan talking about it earlier this morning, and it's like, yeah, they're running all of this through lawyers, right? And they're going to make sure that the strikes are legal. But the optics, if you have a bridge full of people and children, would be devastating. I don't think that the Trump administration could do it. What do you think? 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Again, the latest strikes on Karg Island, not the oil infrastructure, the other items on the island. The Iranian regime is responding. They're putting people in front of their power plants and on their bridges. And the whole situation seems like it's spinning out of control very, very fast. At least that's what it looks like from the outside looking in. The Trump administration could absolutely have a plan and be ready for this and have prepared for this. Pete Hegseth yesterday during the White House press briefing said Iran's military is embarrassed and humiliated. And you know what? If they're going to rely on civilian infrastructure, civilian human shields to protect their infrastructure, then I think you could make the case that the Iranian military is embarrassed and humiliated. This is it's embarrassing nonetheless if you're going to use human shields and you're going to use kids. What are you doing? Oh, hang on one second. I got too many pieces of audio running in the background. This is Pete Hegseth yesterday during the White House press briefing.
And today, as the CIA director mentioned, Iran's military, and we know this, is embarrassed and humiliated, and they should be. Now, these are not routine operations. They were high-risk, high-stakes missions conducted in the heart of enemy territory. This was not just barely into Iran. This was deep into Iran, involving coordinated strikes to suppress threats, deception tactics to protect our teams, and full synchronization across air, ground, and special operations. The Iranians are still asking themselves right now, how did the Americans do this? One downed airman evaded capture for more than a day, scaling rugged ridges while hunted by the enemy. When he was finally able to activate his emergency transponder, his first message was simple, and it was powerful. He sent a message: God is good.
Amen. God is good. That rescue was unbelievable. We're taking your calls on the bridges in the infrastructure, the threats that are out there that by 7 o'clock Central tonight, if Iran doesn't come to the negotiating table, doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz, we're going after those bridges and infrastructure. Currently, Iran has responded in kind by lining the infrastructure, the energy infrastructure with human shields, the bridges with human shields. We're getting your reaction on the line. Let's go to Brian on the road. What's up, Brian?
Hey, brother. Doesn't that just show the true character, ethical, moral, whatever? Because they're religious.
Or lack thereof, right?
100%. That's what I'm saying. That just goes to show you where theirs are, and we're questioning whether we even want to do anything. But the way I look at it is, war is hell. It really is. This is not a war because they're not fighting back much. But if they're going to do something so stupid to innocent children, the women are not innocent. Sorry, they're not. They're either stupid or don't know. I don't know what they're or maybe they believe in their regime and they're going to die for it, which is fine. I always wondered, did the women get 70 virgins too? I'm just wondering how that works.
I've gotten some messages where people will say this is going to turn the Iranian people against us. And I'm wondering how much the Iranian people are even for us. You know, I think that they might hate their own government, but then number 2 and number 3 would be Israel and America on the list of things they hate. Maybe I'm out of touch on that, but I don't necessarily think that these people are looking to us to be liberators by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, there may be one or two here and there, but so are France. France is against us. Germany's against us. So what? I mean, what's the big loss that we find out all those people hate us? You know, they have a choice. Donald Trump, I heard Dan the other morning say Trump's not patient or something. And I said, that's crazy to say that. He's very patient. He's given them every warning there is. And then people say, well, he started the strike early. What, are you stupid? I mean, military minds don't think like people who say stuff like that. Military minds don't tell the enemy when they're going to do it, you know. And it was just genius what they did to rescue our guys. Now, do I think they're heroes? I do, because they're out there serving our country. But I think the big heroes are the guys who go out and get them. I mean, those guys right there, you know, I'd have them in the White House in a minute, putting something around their neck.
100%. Sure. What they were able to do was unbelievable. And talk about a recruitment commercial for the United States military.
Oh,
I mean, no, we're not leaving you behind. We'll do what we need to do, and we'll get you out of enemy territory. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it.
I'm 65, as I say quite often, and I want to join. So you know how it is.
Yes,
you
sir.
Want to be on a winning team. And I think we're a winning team again, thanks to President Trump and his administration. Pete Hegseth, you know, he hung in there with him. He's hung in there with Pam Bondi, a lot of these people, until he couldn't, you know, and then they have to go, I guess. I'm assuming he makes that decision. And people, they criticize Hegseth being the leader of our military Department of War now, not Department of Defense. And I mean, I just think he's the right man for the job right now. Just like they're all in place. He's got the right people on the bus and the right people in the chairs or in the seats on the bus. So
yeah, I'm with you.
And I appreciate let me talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm with you 100% on Hegseth. This is the president yesterday on his Secretary of War.
Great, and Pete, all I can say is that he was treated very unfairly. And now those same people that treated him unfairly, that fought against him, they called me up saying, what a great choice he was. I said, well, what happened during his nomination? What happened to you? I'm sorry, it's people that were not for him, senators, friends of mine. Sir, I don't think you're doing the right thing. Now they're calling me up. What a choice. These two guys are fantastic.
Yeah, Hegseth has been fantastic. Let's go to Brian in Thompson Station on the bridges and infrastructure in Iran. What's up, Brian?
Well, the other Brian said what I was going to say on war is hell, but Iran is just as bad as North Korea when it comes to the brainwashing of their populace in their schools. It's all a lot of propaganda. Now, I don't think that these people are out there of their own volition. I believe that they've been rounded up, put out there, and told that if they leave, they'll be killed. But at the same time, these people do this, and we can't let that stop us from accomplishing our goal. We didn't put those people there. I think they should go in and take out what they said they're going to take out.
But what do the optics look like if that happens? What is the news cycle tomorrow morning if Donald Trump takes out a bridge full of people, women and children?
I get that. Why did they put them there?
I feel you, but, I mean, that's not going to be the question that the American public is asking. That's not going to be the question that the media is asking.
I understand that. I understand. I mean, war is ugly. We've put up with it for far too long to back down because of that. How many people, look at the optics of how many people died on the ship that they ran a speedboat into. How many of our embassies have they killed our people? It's like, and when's enough?
I hear you. I just think it's going to be a tough pill for the American people to swallow if that does go down. Let's go to Kenny in Fayetteville. What's up, Kenny?
Yeah, how you doing? I've just got a couple of comments, and I won't take too much of your time. But my thoughts is, again, Trump is playing chess where everybody else is playing checkers. Trump, typically in this administration, you don't give out your war plans, what you're going to do, etc. So with Trump saying that he's going to bomb the bridges and the power plants, etc., I think that's a diversion. And I truly believe he's got other sites in mind that he's going to take care of tonight. And I think the Trumps and the bridges and the power plants, that's just a strategic diversion of what he wants to do.
Bit of a head fake, says Kenny in Fayetteville. Could be. It could be. Could be a bit of a head fake. I guess we'll find out together after 7 o'clock Central tonight. And if he doesn't bomb those bridges, it's like he's damned if he do, damned if he doesn't, right? If he bombs them and there's people on them, the left will scream, oh, my gosh, it's a war crime. How could he do this? And if he doesn't bomb them, it'll be Trump always chickens out. Oh, my gosh, we knew it. No matter what, they're going to have something to bludgeon him with. John in Hendersonville, you're last up. What you got, John?
Hey, yes, sir. I have to agree with Kenny a bit there. But here's my thought is, okay, he's showing how evil they are by them doing that, right? He's just showing how desperate and evil they are. Here's what I would do if I was him at this moment, not knowing, of course, what he knows. I'd send in some special ops folks and blow the crap out of those guys forcing those people on those bridges and then claim he rescued them. Okay, and then blow the dang bridge up. How about that?
So you go full ground invasion to save the people on the bridges and in front of the power plants, and then get our troops out and then blow up the bridges.
Just pick a couple. Pick a couple.
All right.
Pick a couple and go in and take out the military blocking those people.
All right, John. I appreciate the call. 615-737-9986. If you want to join the conversation, it's 9:54. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for Conservatives for Lower Health Care Costs. President Trump is doing what politicians have promised for decades but never actually delivered. He's fighting to lower prescription drug costs for American families and our seniors, and he's forced Big Pharma to make deals. He's reformed pharmacy benefit managers, and he launched Trump RX. That's a platform to buy medications at dramatically reduced prices. That's real relief for Tennessee families, seniors, and anyone who's ever had to choose between a prescription and paying rent. But right now in Nashville, some politicians are pushing Senate Bill 2040. The so-called Fair Prescription Act. And it sounds reasonable, but if it passes, it could force the closure of hundreds of pharmacies across Tennessee overnight. That would be thousands of jobs eliminated and over 1.5 million patients scrambling to find care. Many of these pharmacies serve rural communities where the nearest pharmacy is 30 minutes away. SB 2040 would also cut off mail order delivery. That hurts veterans, seniors who can't drive, and the Trump RX program itself. This is big government at its worst when they try to fix a problem by creating 3 more. Conservatives for Lower Health Care Costs, they're sounding the alarm, and you can learn more right now at protecttnrx.com. 9:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We are minutes away from the headlines with Joan Jones. President Trump last night laying out the timeline for the Iranians.
Essentially, they have till 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Eastern time.
7 Central.
We are dealing with them. I think it's going well. Mr. Witkoff is here, and JD's involved in the dealing. Mr. Witkoff is sitting right here, and I think it's going fine, but we'll have to see. You have to understand, we've been dealing with these people for 47 years. I'm standing here with a much more powerful Iran as of a month ago, not anymore. Right now, they are decapitated. But I'm standing here a month ago with a much more powerful Iran than it was at any point during 47 years. This should have been handled by 7 presidents, a lot of presidents. And those presidents are saying now, every one of them.
Every one of them saying, yeah, President Trump made the right call. Almost every one of them. I don't know. Have we gotten a statement from Barack Hussein Obama? President Trump had a few things to say about Barack Hussein Obama during that press briefing yesterday. We'll bring you those comments on the way. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and we have new video that has just been released on Iranian state TV. It shows children and other Iranians standing on a bridge holding a long rolled-out flag and singing. Another video shows a human chain formed in front of a power plant, both an effort to dissuade President Trump from blowing up those sites as promised if Iran doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz. That deadline, by the way, is 8 o'clock tonight.
We want a world where oil and gas is flowing freely, where people can afford to heat their homes and cool their homes, where people can afford to transport themselves to work. That's not going to happen if the Iranians are engaged in acts of economic terrorism. So they've got to know we've got tools in our toolkit that we so far haven't decided to use. The President of the United States can decide to use them, and he will decide to use them if the Iranians don't change their course of conduct.
That's Vice President J.D. Vance speaking at a press event in Hungary earlier this hour. Israel, by the way, is tuning up for tonight's airstrikes, too. This morning, bombing 10 key rail sections and bridges in Iran. The Times of Israel saying that it's part of the effort to prevent the IRGC from moving weapons systems. Israel has warned Iranians to stay away from trains until this evening. Here in Nashville, Metro Council is voting on a bill today. It would restrict bars and nightclubs from operating in shopping center areas. It comes after shootings in places like Bell Road and Antioch. Metro Council member Joy Stiles, who introduced the bill, said the issue is not about targeting businesses, but keeping residents safe. And the astronauts aboard the Artemis II got a special phone call after swinging around the dark side of the moon.
Today you've made history and made all America really proud, incredibly proud.
During the call with the president, astronaut Christina Cook described what it was like to see Earth again after passing behind the moon.
One of the biggest highlights was coming back from the far side of the moon and having the first glimpses of planet Earth again after being out of communication for about 45 minutes. It really just reminds you what a special place we have.
Yeah, part of the mission for the astronauts yesterday, taking photos and noting possible landing sites for future Artemis missions. That is the latest news. Your weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
6 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm laughing. My wife sent me a picture of the kids, and it's cracking me up. I sent it to Mason, too. So Millie Jane, my youngest, had a birthday over the weekend. She turned 4. And today is her first day back to preschool. So we do the homeschooling thing, so the boys are home, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the home days. So they all went to Dunkin' Donuts to get munchkins to bring to Millie Jane for her class to celebrate her birthday, which is just fantastic. So my wife sends me this picture, and my 6-year-old raided my hat closet before he went into the preschool. I don't know if you know this. I'm a hat collector.
A bit of a hat guy.
I'm a hat guy, and I have a ridiculous amount of hats. And I have hats that I don't even wear, but I just hang on to them because I just hang on to them. So my 6-year-old raided my hat closet, and he decided to grab my NRA hat and wear that to the preschool. So get yourself a kid that likes the NRA.
Yeah. Every time you bring up the hat collection, I always like to remember that it's like, oh yeah, I've made additions to that. I'm proud of myself for that.
You have. Mason got me like an old school Super Talk hat that he found at a thrift store.
Like early 2000s, one old logo. It's cool.
It says sports on it. It's like news, weather, sports.
Yeah, I love that thing. That's so cool.
Back when we had a sports ball feature.
Rest in peace, McMorey.
And then, why would weather come before it?
I don't know. That was also interesting.
Like, wouldn't it be news, sports, weather?
Yeah.
Because sports would just be more frequent?
More consistent? I don't know.
I don't either, but my 6-year-old's running around town in an NRA hat. So if you see him, give him a high five.
That's so awesome. Chris sent me the picture, and I just erupted in laughter. It's so good.
I don't even know where he found it.
I also don't know if he fully understands what it is.
Dude, they wear some baller hats. We have a hat from Burrow Bullets that the boys like to wear a bit.
Yeah.
Too. So I'll keep you updated on what hats they steal.
I'm here for it.
We got a lot to get to, only a little bit of time. We also have Katherine Bergam, the wife of our Secretary of the Interior, Doug Bergam, coming in. Looking forward to that conversation with Mrs. Bergam. We're going to be talking about the Great American Recovery Initiative, and she is co-chairing that initiative with Bobby Kennedy. So we're going to have a good conversation with it's not Madam Secretary. It's not you're not the First Lady anymore.
No.
Is there a fun title when you're the wife of a secretary?
Maybe just put former in front of it.
Former First Lady? That feels like a jab.
Yeah.
I don't want to diss her.
No.
I think she's fantastic.
Fantastic First Lady.
The fantastic former First Lady. We'll ask her. We'll ask her
what her title is.
Is there a proper way to introduce her?
How do we address this?
That's gonna take a little bit of the interview.
Oh, you're gonna do it not in between segments?
No, why would
in?
I do that? I don't want. Let's pull back the curtain.
Yeah, let everybody in.
Let's have these conversations live. So we're looking forward to that. Katherine Bergam will be joining us at about 10:35. We've been detailing what's been going on in Iran. A lot of stuff. You have the overlaying deadline is still there. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central tonight. If you don't come to the table to make a deal, if you don't open the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to take out bridges and energy infrastructure. And then at the same time, you have the Iranian regime flooding those bridges with human shields, women and children. And in front of the energy infrastructure, in front of the power plants, women and children. Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave. Mike in Nashville wants to talk about the bridges. What's up, Mike? Yo, Mike.
How you doing, Chris?
What's up? What do you got?
Yeah, okay, how you doing, brother? Hey, listen, Chris. I always compliment Donald Trump, and I hopefully you will agree with what I'm about to say. Donald Trump, all he had to say, because I heard somebody else say this a couple of days ago, Donald Trump shouldn't have said that he was going to bomb the bridges and infrastructure. Because, see, that's what the people, the cowards over there, you see what they're doing now. They're putting the women in jail. All he had to do was say that in 48 hours he was going to start bombing certain areas of Iran. You can't give away certain military, optics when you're talking. That's the only mistake Donald Trump has made, is that he shouldn't have alerted these people. Because, see, these mullahs are nothing but cowards. And, they'll shoot into a school, a church, But now you see what they're putting women and kids on bridges and trying to keep these things from being eliminated. So now Donald Trump is in a bad position, and you can't shoot a bridge full of kids or an electrical plant full of kids, because that's exactly what the Democrats want, and it'll be on every newspaper and every television set in America if he does that tonight. So hopefully Donald Trump won't do that. But in the future, in coming bombings, Chris, hopefully you'll agree with me, Donald Trump does not need to give out the locations of places he planned on bombing. And I thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But, Mike, do you think that this is possible, that it's a head fake?
Yeah, I agree with that caller who said earlier, I never thought about that. It could be a head fake because Donald Trump and his people are smart. They might have those people, like you said, try to get to the electrical and the other places, and then he hits something totally opposite. So hopefully that's what Donald Trump has planned. Like you said, maybe it's a head fake, but hopefully Donald Trump will stop alerting these people to areas that he planned on bombing in the future. And I thank you for taking my call.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Yesterday, a New York Times reporter during the White House press briefing asked about the deliberate attacks on civilian infrastructure and asked, would this violate the Geneva Convention and international law?
For the question, deliberate attacks on civilian infrastructure violate the Geneva Conventions and international law.
Who are you with?
I'm with the New York Times. Zolan from the New York Times. Are you
failing?
Are you concerned?
Circulation way down at the New York Times.
Absolute savage. Do you see the... If you're watching on Super Talk TV, right when he goes to the New York Times, Trump, his jaw kind of opens a little bit. The failing New York Times. The failing New York Times.
Who are you with? Who are you with?
I'm with the New York Times. Zolan from the New York Times. Are you
failing?
Are you concerned?
Circulation way down at the New York Times.
Are you concerned that your threat to bomb power plants and bridges amount to
No,
war
not at
crimes?
all. No, I'm not. I hope I don't have to do it. But again, I just said 47 years they've been negotiating with these people. They're great negotiators, and because they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And if somebody that takes my place someday is weak and ineffective, which possibly that will happen because we had numerous presidents that were weak, ineffective, and afraid of Iran, we're never going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And if you think it's okay for people that are sick of mind, that are tough, smart, and sick, really sick, from a policy standpoint, from a any which way you want to say, mentally, these are disturbed people. If you think I'm going to allow them.
No, and you shouldn't. And the president's right. They are mentally sick and disturbed, as you can see by the actions today when you're putting women and children on a freaking bridge and in front of a power plant so that way the United States can't bomb it due to optic reasons. The New York Times reporter then interrupted the president, and President Trump went full savage once again.
Quiet. You no longer have credibility at the New York Times because the New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election, and I won in a landslide. I won every swing state. New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election. New York Times has no credibility. The credibility they have is it used to be all the news that's fit to print. The old gray lady, it was great, but they're running on past fumes, and you can't keep doing that. You have to be able to give the correct news, and people like you, who I know, are fake. You're fake. Go ahead.
You are fake news. That's the president yesterday at the White House press briefing. Lindsay and Gallatin, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Lindsay?
Yeah, I do wish to disagree with the last caller, Chris. I think Trump should fully follow through, or we will look completely weak.
Even if there's women and children on the bridge?
Yes, sir, because they're enslaved anyway. They're getting killed anyway. And why should we look like we're going to make a threat and not follow through?
I mean, the optics on that would be disastrous.
I agree, but they're the ones doing it. They're putting them there.
I mean, I hear you, but then you think, but if you think they went after Trump hard the first time, after the first term, imagine if they can try and go after him for war crimes, what they would be willing to do to this man.
Well, they would, and they will anyway. So he's tough. Let him do what's right.
I mean, yeah, but people would argue that bombing women and children on a bridge is not right.
I would argue that they're going to be tortured and killed and shot in the head anyway. if they don't stand on that bridge, and that we're trying to free them.
I mean, but that's a hypothetical. If you bomb a bridge and they're on it, it's not hypothetical that they die.
Fair enough. We can agree to disagree.
All right. Hey, I appreciate the call. As always, Lindsay, thank you so much. The president continued yesterday on bombing them back to the Stone Ages.
Is up actually today, so I gave him 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now, we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this. But we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah. Stone Ages.
Stone Ages, yeah. Stone Ages. Unbelievable. That's the president yesterday. So he said, you got an extra day. You got 11. I gave you 10. It wasn't going to do it on Easter. The president just, I mean, he doesn't seem like he's backing down. Let's go to AJ in Tennessee. AJ, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. What are you thinking?
Well, I got my opinion about this whole thing. First of all, these people that are coming to these bridges and are protesting, they're on the side of the government. Their families, their husbands, their brothers were the ones that shot innocents on the street.
Real quick, I know we've talked to you before. You are from Iran, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to get that in there for I just want to get that in there for the context and the info for the audience that's listening, because I recall that as
Zoroastrian. I'm one of the minorities. I'm what a lot of Iranians now identify as, but I'm an actual Zoroastrian born from Iran. My father studied in India before marrying my mom, who lived in Iran at the time, and it's a beautiful country. People are just mostly on the side of like Western countries. They don't identify as Muslims. They're just being forced to, and people are like, oh, there's so many Muslims. When you're a Muslim, your kids have to be Muslim. Like, if they're not registered as a Muslim, they'll kill you. Like, you can't just get away and be like, oh yeah, my kids are free to choose their own religion. No. Like, you are a Muslim, you're giving birth to Muslim kids. And if they find out your kids are going to a church, so there's no getting out of that. If you want to live in that country, you have to be a Muslim. If you're a different religion, they might let you get away with it, but not if you're a Muslim. You can't convert to something else.
So
and
back to the bridges.
They're getting paid. They're getting paid.
You think they're getting paid? They're not being forced to be on those bridges? Give me a little bit of context.
The enforcers, first it started when they started running out of like grown people, because they're just cowards and they were like getting killed left and right by the Israeli forces, by the IDF. So they got these stops on the roads that are just kind of like DUI checkpoints. So imagine that, but then every like a half a kilometer, every like say half a mile or 2 miles, or just random checkpoints, and they just scare people, they shoot people, they harass people, they take you in if you're showing hair, and they've made it so much more during the war, like in the past few months. So they were getting shot and they were scared, so they were paying. They were like, I've seen the videos and I've heard people tell me, oh yeah, they come on TV and they're like, send your kids if you love the if you love our way of living or whatever, they brainwash the people, and they already have been brainwashed to certain groups of people that support the regime, about 10%. So they're like, so yeah, you need to send your kids and we'll take care of them, and they'll pay them. They pay them these great sums of money, and if their kids die from like these bombings, they get paid a lot of money. Like, I'm talking about for an Iranian, like $100 is a lot of money. Now imagine somebody getting paid like $10,000 for their kid dying, and they got like 7, 8 kids. This is Islamic jihadists. They just pop out kids left and right. They don't care. They don't care if one of them dies. He's a martyr, and I'm getting paid. Win-win.
So if you're the
man, they kill like 50,000 people, and now they're like doing this to get away with it. I'm like, get them. If you need to shoot, if you need to bomb whatever you need to bomb it. I trust President Trump. Bomb the hell out of them. We could rebuild. We can make these kids that they killed come back to life. They killed 50,000 that are like have been proven that I think it's more in the hundreds of thousands of people because 5 million people came out to protest. There is no way they only killed 50,000.
So if you were the president of the United States, it's 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Your finger is near the button.
I think he's doing it like a head game with him. He's saying something and he's doing something else. Just like the time of the war when he said he was going to start it, this, that. He's a cunning man. I love this about him. He doesn't say what he's going to do. That was one of the things he hated about the past presidents. Like, why the hell are these people talking to them? Like, telling them what we're going to do. Why they're telling them, hey, leave this place or we're going to bomb this spot, like, in 72 hours. Like, they're idiots for doing that. I think he's doing, what he said. So he's telling the opposite of what he's going to do. He might bomb some of them. You never know. He might be. That bridge that he bombed, there was a video that I saw once, and I tried to find it again. I could not. But it was showing a rocket launcher on the middle of that bridge that they shot. There was a lady that was filming it from, like, far away. She was talking in Farsi, but she was speaking in Farsi, and she was like, oh, yeah, I could see the rocket launcher on the bridge. And then, bam, like 30 seconds later, he got hit. So these people are just, like, I wouldn't feel bad. And then, like, whoever sends their kids to these places, like, you know what you're doing, you know what you're risking, and they kill 50,000 people.
That's
like,
a fair point. That's a fair point. You do know what you're doing. You do know what you're risking. Listen,
I'm sorry. And if you don't do this right now, they're going to kill way more. And to
your point, it's like when we see leftists bring their children to a protest and they get hit with pepper spray, it's like, listen, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. We kind of knew what you were getting into.
You knew what you were doing. You knew that you're taking chances. You're going against federal agents that are doing their job. You're putting their lives at risk. They're already on edge. They're getting so many threats, and then you're doing something stupid. You win stupid prizes. I mean, that's just the way it is. And people need to realize innocent people die every day. Those kids are innocent. I'm not saying they should die. I feel bad. I feel really sorry. But their parents are putting those kids in those situations. And whether you like it or not, it has to stop, right? These evil people have to be stopped. And this is the only way to do it. So if the president thinks that they need to bomb this certain spot that has maybe kids or women, like, in protecting it, just do it. And these people that are standing, you should see some of these, like women. You think they're innocent, like the ones that are coloring, they're wearing the burqas. Man, I've seen them do some evil stuff, like firsthand. They're grabbing, like, women by the hair, slamming their head into the ground, like, in front of me. Like, in Tehran, when I went to visit there after 20 years. It was so scary. Like, they're evil. Like, their ideology is evil. Like, they need to be put down. That's just, so I would, like, I see these players, like, they go and they gather, and, like, I see a few kids, and I see a bunch of adults and a few kids and women. I'm like, why are they still breeding? Like, bomb the hell out of them. Get them all out of here. Even the kids, I mean, that's just sad.
It's harsh, man. It is so
hey,
cold.
Man, it's just the way it is.
I know. You got your reasons.
I'm an Iranian, so I know what I'm talking about. And nobody can tell me otherwise.
And this is why I wanted to hear from you. And AJ, I appreciate the call as always, man. It is 10:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, and I got to tell you about my friends at Better Water LLC. If you're tired of weird smell stains or just plain old bad tasting water at the house or the office, these are the people that you need to call. You got to think of it like a giant Brita filter for your whole house, so they can scale it down to fit completely under your sink, or they can do one for your entire business, and they handle everything. You could have some nasty stuff in your water. Here's the best part. Better Water will test your water for free, and if you got none of this in there, they'll tell you, don't do a thing. You're good to go. But if you have sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, or even E. coli in that water, you're going to need to make some moves, and Better Water is going to help you with reverse osmosis, specialized filters, UV lights, you name it. Better Water has you covered. They're a local company based out of Smyrna, Tennessee. They serve all of Middle Tennessee, and they've already been treating the water at the local coffee shops and the hospitals around town. These guys are the pros. Stop drinking the junk out of your tap. Call Better Water today. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or you can check them out online, betterwater.com.
Coming up, ceasefire hopes are fading and airstrikes have begun at Karg Island. Those are your stories at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 10:28 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. Very excited. We have a very special guest in studio. The lovely Katherine Bergam is here. She is the wife of our Secretary of the Interior, and we're going to be having a long conversation about the Great American Recovery Initiative that she is co-chairing with RFK Jr. She's actually in studio now. Welcome to the Chris Hand Show, Katherine. I appreciate you being here.
Hey, thank you so much, Chris. Happy to be here.
We were talking before. You know, you were the first lady of North Dakota. What do we call you now that you're the wife of a secretary? Is there a fun title for that?
No, Katherine.
Katherine. We'll just go with Katherine.
Yes.
Well, what are you doing in Nashville? What are you guys working on?
Well, we're here because there's a huge conference here called the RX Summit, which is basically the whole prevention addiction treatment industry, but also includes faith, includes a lot of other groups as well. But it was started, 15 years ago. Actually, it's their anniversary this year as a result of the opioid crisis. And it's really just expanded from there. It's a wonderful conference.
Well, we're looking forward to hearing more about that. And we want to talk about the Great American Recovery Initiative on the way. It's 10:30. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Explosions have been reported on Iran's Karg Island. Among the sites hit, bunkers, a radar station, and ammunition storage. Fox News' Trey Yingst on why those sites were chosen.
The president understands that when it comes to the Iranian regime, the two things that are keeping this regime afloat are their energy infrastructure that is used to funnel money to the IRGC and the weapons that are currently being used against U.S. forces and allies across the region, and the oil infrastructure.
President Trump has threatened Iran with more strikes if it doesn't open the Strait of Hormuz by tonight. Got an update on those two airmen whose F-15 crashed in Iran. From Jennifer Griffin at Fox News.
Both the pilot and the weapons systems officer are in Landstuhl, Germany, and they will soon be en route to the United States. I'm told the pilot is in good shape and that the second crew member is a bit more banged up, but will recover.
That is good news for sure. The Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency investigating after a Tullahoma man died at Timms Ford Lake over the weekend. Police were called to the lake about 5:30 Sunday. 24-year-old Blake Lewis had fallen off a paddle vessel. Witnesses say he struggled to swim and couldn't reach the flotation devices thrown to him by a friend. His body was recovered several hours later. That is the latest news. Stick around for your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
I have changed my tune on FIFA. I'm excited. June 26th, there's a FIFA World Cup match in Seattle. This was designated as the Pride match. So it's going to be the gayest soccer game you've ever seen. And everybody was really excited about it. And it's in Seattle. So you can only imagine there's going to be like naked bicyclists and like a lot of penises. Way too many.
Yeah, more than none.
The teams that were selected to play in the super gay soccer game, Iran and Egypt.
No.
It's like this has to be a troll. Both of them have like in Iran, if you're gay, that's like jail for life, and I think that's them being like lenient.
Yeah.
And Egypt also has draconian anti-gay laws.
Yeah.
I've never been so excited for a soccer game.
Oh.
And we've maintained from the very beginning that the American people just deserve the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to the Epstein files.
Another email shows Democrat fundraisers invited Epstein to an event or to meet privately with Hakeem Jeffries. So Hakeem Jeffries' campaign solicited money from Jeffrey Epstein.
We believe in transparency. We believe in accountability. We believe in due process. And let me be very clear about Stacey Plaskett. She's a woman of great intelligence and a woman of great integrity.
And I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent, who was sharing information with me.
They've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing.
One thing he's clearly doing is changing the subject from a different form of crime, which is child sex trafficking, which Jeffrey Epstein was a mastermind of.
I have a feeling we're going to learn about how deeply tied into the left Epstein really was.
"36 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. You can listen to the show anywhere on all the apps, the FM dial, and you can watch the show as well, Super Talk TV, YouTube, and Rumble. Hit the subscribe button. Help us grow the digital footprint of the radio station. We appreciate you helping us. We have an awesome guest in studio. The wife of the Secretary of the Interior, Doug Bergam, Miss Katherine Bergam, is in studio. Welcome to the show, Katherine.
Chris, happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you here. You guys, you're co-chairing the Great American Recovery Initiative alongside Bobby Kennedy. How did that happen? Where did you find yourself in a place where kind of the stars aligned, where you're now sitting in a chair next to Bobby Kennedy talking about recovery in America?
Good question. Well, it started because after 8 years of First Lady, being First Lady of North Dakota, I thought, okay, well, let's go way back. Okay.
Let's rewind the tape.
It started with my own story, first of all, that I started drinking in high school. I was a blackout drinker, struggled for a lot of years, 8 years of relapsing. I have an MBA and I couldn't MBA my way out of this situation. And then I was out walking one day and asked for help. There was no one with me. I just knew that there was something, I sort of knew that there was a God, but I didn't have a lot of faith at that point. Anyway, asked for help. I've been sober since I said those words, and that was 24 years ago. That was divine intervention.
That is amazing. Congratulations. Yeah. That is not an easy mountain to climb.
It isn't, but, asking for help is the most important thing, because I was suicidal in the end, and I had untreated depression, and that was God saying, there's a purpose for you.
But a lot of people don't understand when you get sober, it's like it gets actually harder for a little while, because all of the feelings that you had been numbing for all of those years now come back to the surface. And then it's like, oh, crap, like dealing with this wasn't on my list of things that I wanted to do, but you have to get over that in order to keep the sobriety on track.
Yes. I feel like the minute you say, I need help, there's a lot of weight lifted off your shoulders. Like it's the first step. And then just one day at a time, that's all you have to look at, is one thing at a time. And then, pretty soon you've got more time. And then if you surround yourself with people that are like you are. But the thing that really helps is faith. Like you're right, you have those voices in your head or those feelings you have to deal with. But it's also, you know, faith is a huge part of it. There's a lot of 12-step groups. There's a lot of people that you can surround yourself with who have the same experiences. And that's part of what I did. But then 15 years later, I was 15 years of recovery, and then my husband came home one day and said he wanted to run for governor, and I wanted to like run out the door. You know, I was like, but we have a great life. But, you know, anyway, I was like, well, it's not all about me. But no, I was a little bit more introverted, so that was kind of a big thing for me. But I just realized he would be the best governor for North Dakota. So then all of a sudden I was First Lady of North Dakota, and I hadn't talked about my recovery at all. And I decided in my first newspaper interview that I would talk about it. And when I did that interview, literally 1,000 pounds were lifted off my shoulders, because that opened a door, that opened 1,000 more doors. And I realized that the more we talk about this, the more it normalizes the conversation for people. And so for 8 years, my husband and I really focused on we started this thing called Recovery Reinvented, and it was all about eliminating stigma. And we measured stigma in our state. No other state has done that I know of, or did it before we did, because we.
How do you measure stigma?
Yeah, right. Okay, it's because, you know, we had this one-day conference, and then we were doing all this work, and there was a lot of grassroots movements and some initiatives, and people were like, you know, I feel like things are changing. I feel like people are talking about this more. And I was like, well, feelings are one thing, but data is another. Data gets funding, it moves the needle, changes minds, and so I said, let's do a survey. So we surveyed people, and we learned at that point that 63% of North Dakotans believed that addiction was a disease, which was high, I thought. I mean, I was kind of surprised by that. We had already been working on this for a little while. But I learned that 1 in 3 people still believed it was a choice or a moral failing. So we did more work for a couple of years, and then we measured again. And that's when we figured out we had a 20% decrease in the stigma of addiction in our state. No taxpayer dollars, all grassroots movements.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. So
you get into this in North Dakota.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing some success.
Yes.
What does success look like when you're going through these moves in North Dakota?
Yeah. Okay, 2 stories. One, we gave out Narcan I get emotional, I talk about some of these things, but from year 1, we gave out Narcan every year, for the opioid reversal drug.
Yep.
We handed it out to people, and we trained them how to use it. And we had it in our bathroom in the governor's residence. We had it, you know, and then a couple years into that, someone reached out and said they wanted to have lunch with me, and my staff was like, okay, and it was something to do with their son. So I had lunch with them, and they said that they had come to the Recovery Reinvented and learned how to use Narcan, and then they revived their son on the bathroom floor at their house. And I was like, okay, we are saving lives. You know, this is amazing. And then the last year I was governor and First Lady, this woman came up with her mother and her 3 kids, and she said, you know, I've been sober for 3 years because I went to Recovery Reinvented, you know, and she's like, I've got my kids back, I've got my job, I've got my husband.
God is so good, huh?
Exactly. So, you know, it was like that, the work. So those are the stories that helped me know we were making a difference. And at the time, too, I was in D.C. a lot because I was working with the White House, with the ONDCP, with the drug czar, Jim Carroll, and other people, Kellyanne, connected through, you know, just various events there, and trying to, you know, figure out how we could make a difference in North Dakota. So the Trump administration has been on this for a while before the Great American Recovery.
But it was the success in North Dakota when they create the Great American Recovery Initiative that they go, oh, we got to get Katherine Bergam.
Well, here's what happened. I created the initiative. So I thought after 8 years of, you know, being First Lady, I was take a break, you know, not a public figure, you know,
finally kick your feet up.
Do some Pilates, you know, learn a foreign language, something. But it kept coming to me that this is a unicorn point in time, because we have all these people in senior roles in our administration directly impacted by Susie Wiles, her dad, Pat Summerall, you know, JD with his mom, you know, Billy Elegy, the president with his brother, Fred. And then we have the head of HHS who's in recovery for 40 years. I was like, this is never going to happen again. And this is an administration that wants to make a difference, wants to help people, led by President Trump, who really cares about Americans and wants to make a difference. And so I just thought, okay, the time is now. So I sent Bobby a message back in August, and I'm like, Bobby, you have the chance to make a real difference. I've done the research. There's a lot that you can do that doesn't require an act of Congress. But then, so for a little, then that was kind of a thought. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put a plan together. I pitched it to Susie Wiles. And literally I walked into her office and
is that intimidating? like, I mean, like, be real. Like, cause everybody talks about Susie Wiles. Like she's the boss. So is it like a little bit nerve wracking? Are you a little sweaty as you go in there to pitch a plan to Susie Wiles?
Well, let me tell you, she's been nothing but nice and kind to me. And we campaigned for the president, got to know her a little bit there. Didn't really know much about her dad and this story and everything. And read an article about how Hazel and Betty Ford impacted her life because that's where her dad got sober. And I, at the time, was on the board of Hazel and Betty Ford and was for 7 years. I'm not anymore. But I just thought, I thought this is something that she has to know about because, for the ability for this administration to really make a difference. So it just kept moving me forward. And I'm not somebody who's like knocking down the door and, really, but I just believe in this so much and how we have the opportunity to really save lives. So
how do you scale up from North Dakota success to nationwide success?
Well, you make transformational change, really. I mean, I think my experience and the change and what we did in North Dakota has really helped me say, yes, even a small group of people can make a huge difference. So I walk into her office, pitch it to her. She said, I love this, and the president's going to love it too. And I walked out of the office and thought, if nothing else happens, But then I hear it's going to be an executive order. And then I really can't believe it. I can't believe, I'm someone who's in recovery for 24 years now who should be dead. You know how that goes. And then I'm like, but here I am.
Imagine telling, day one sober Katherine Bergam what, year 24 is going to be saying.
And that's why I always tell people, never give up hope for recovery.
Amen.
No matter how many times you have to go to treatment, no matter how many times you have to reach out. This is the whole point of Great American Recovery. This is a chronic, relapsing, lifelong disease.
Yep.
And we have to start treating it that way from a medical standpoint. We need to focus on the chronic disease model for the disease of addiction.
Well, and the relapse doesn't need to be a source of shame. It's like statistically like one of the most probable things that's going to happen. So like get back on the horse and try again.
It takes, 8 times for somebody to get sober through treatment. I mean, there's some things that we do measure.
Yeah.
But it is with someone with diabetes, chronic, relapsing, lifelong disease, when things don't work, they don't call it a failure.
Right.
They don't say, well, you got your one shot, and now you're going to spend the rest of your life spending all the money you have, all of your parents' money, everything you have, to get your child sober, and guess what? That person still doesn't make it. So using the disease model is the best opportunity we have to stop this generational decimation, because it's a generational thing for a lot of reasons. But, people living in homes there's 8 million kids that have a parent that is at least, one of their parents that has substance use disorder or addiction. So, yeah.
And the ripple effects from that are massive. I mean, it affects everybody. This thing affects communities. So
Yes.
how are you going to judge success nationwide with the Great American Recovery Initiative? What are the goals? What are the metrics? And how does that impact Tennesseans in particular?
You are asking good questions. Very good questions.
People say I'm the best question asker, and I'm also the most humble host on the radio station. It's like a dual, and I'm really, really good at questions.
Oh my gosh. Well, because it sounds like you're an entrepreneur, because you're like, okay, what is this? What's the input? What's the output? What's the measurement? All those things.
Okay. So admittedly, I know that there's a lot of money behind this, and I don't want to throw good money after bad. I'm fiscally conservative, but I also understand what addiction looks like and how it's not free to fix. So what are we doing? What does it look like?
Exactly, right. Well, changing this to a chronic disease model would make it like any other chronic disease. It would be fully embedded in healthcare. It wouldn't be a hodgepodge thing where everybody's falling through the cracks all the time. We get involved in this disease when it's at a crisis level, and then we spend all our money on the consequences and program after this and whatever, and it's not working. The numbers aren't going down in any way.
I had the opportunity to talk to Secretary Kennedy on the show a couple weeks ago, and he was mentioning how a lot of these rehab facilities, there's not even really a benefit in getting people sober because there's more money in the relapse and them coming back.
Yes. There's money in this whole market. I mean, there's obviously, but if we change this to a disease model, it's going to be covered under healthcare. In my opinion, in some ways, I mean, this is a disease, and we're just not, we're not equitable in terms of how insurance covers this. We don't use evidence-based training or models for 90 days instead of 30 days. So having this disease model concept, and that's what the executive order says. This is a chronic disease that needs to be treated like every other chronic disease. This is a declaration from the highest office in our land, and this is President Trump saying this. We need to make these changes, and how important this is, and his leadership is so important in this process. So how are we going to measure it? Those are all things that are going to need to be figured out. We're going to measure it like we measure other chronic diseases. What works? What doesn't work? What fails? This is different in some ways, but we have models out there that we don't have to reinvent the wheel completely, but we also have to use evidence-based training. We have that information. This is science-based. So when we do those things, we will have the opportunity to save more lives. And listen, stopping your kids, your grandkids, their grandkids will all be faced with the same thing unless we make a transformational change, because the numbers aren't going down. What we're doing now isn't working. We're trying, but if we start at we change things so that prevention looks completely different. We have people wearing devices that are giving off signals that to their doctor or whatever. I mean, there's innovation involved in this. There's also public-private partnerships involved in the government, in the Great American Recovery, because we need those partners. Those people have had kids die. Those people with family offices, those people, they wanted everywhere I go. I tell them what I'm doing. My daughter died 3 months ago. Literally, I talked to two guys in the same night. They're both billionaires, lost their daughters in the last, year, and they want to help. I want to do so. I'm like, well, maybe we'll do some advisory. No, I want to be on a working group. I want to do the work. I want to make sure it happens. So we have people who want to, it doesn't have to be all taxpayer dollars, but changing how our insurance system works. We can't have treatment that is based on what insurance is going to pay. Because it doesn't work. 30 days doesn't work. Everybody knows 90 days is the standard, and maybe some pay and some, whatever. But we have to use basically the standards that we need that we know will work and that will help keep people get sober and stop the generational damage in families.
We're talking with Katherine Bergam. She is the wife of our Interior Secretary, Doug Bergam. How does this Great American Recovery Initiative impact Tennessee specifically?
Well, let me tell you, Tennessee's doing a lot of great work. You've got a great governor, Bill Lee, and I mean, really some innovative stuff. And you've got a lot of things focused on faith here. And I think that's why things are so much better than other parts of our country. And you know what? We can lift that up. We can lift up the process, the systems, what you guys are doing here as an opportunity for the rest of the nation to say, hey, you can make big changes. You can help people the way they're doing it in Tennessee. And that's what we plan to do with the Great American Recovery as well. And we want to, how we do this should affect every state in the nation. And what we're going to do as well is, it's a whole of government approach. It's a cross cabinet approach. There's an opportunity for every cabinet to do some kind of initiative that would help in some way, whether it's workforce or housing or the veterans or Native Americans. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity. So, I I believe that we all have to come together, healthcare, the payers, the governors, that just everyone has to come together because it's, it affects everyone. If you, over 113 million people are affected by this disease. This disease has the most collateral damage than any other disease,
Facts.
So, and that in itself is like, okay, how many do we need? Like 75% of our population to be impacted by this in some way, because we're moving in that direction unless we change things.
Well, I'm grateful for the work that you're putting in along with Bobby Kennedy. I would be willing to bet you're a bit more busy now than you were as First Lady of North Dakota.
Yes, and I love it. Never thought I would be, but, Bobby is great. We're so aligned with, with what this disease does, and he clearly has, 40 years of recovery, which is twice as much as I do. So I couldn't ask for a better partner.
It's always cool when you see people that have more recovery than you do, because you're like, oh, okay, I want to get to where you're at.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice.
Right, absolutely. But more than anything, I'm grateful for the president who believes in what we're doing and really wants to do this initiative to help all of America.
I thought that was one of the most humanizing parts of the campaign when he was on the Theo Vaughn podcast and he talked about his brother. And I think that's one of the most humanizing things about J.D. Vance when he talks about his mother. I think that this is the new American story, unfortunately. But we're a generation right now, and we have an ability and an opportunity to fix this. So I thank you for the work that you're doing. Where can we learn more about the Great American Recovery Initiative, and how can we keep up with you as you go down this path?
Yeah, good question. I have a website, katherinebergam.com. You can send things there for the Great American Recovery questions, whatever. There's an email address, a lot of information there. We're working on a site that's going to be the Great American, and that should be out soon. I don't know, next couple weeks.
Perfect.
Or so, but soon. And so we're going to have a lot of information available, but then you're going to see us everywhere too, between Bobby and I.
I'm really excited about this, and you have an open invitation anytime you're in Tennessee to come on down to the studio and give us an update. Will you sign up for that?
Absolutely. I would love to. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Katherine Bergam taking some time with us. We appreciate you. It's 10:56 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you.
Can we do it at the end of the commercial break? Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You hear me talking about Dr. Mitch all the time. He should be your doctor, especially if you're dealing with pain. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, herniated or bulging discs, knee pain, numbness in your arms or legs. You need to know about the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They're going to fix that pain, and they're not going to use surgery. They're not going to prescribe you some opioids, and they're not going to focus on painful injections. No. None of that. Right now, you can get 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression. You can also take part in some of the most advanced treatment in all of medicine right here in Nashville, from the hydrowave machine, which is going to stimulate your cells at the cellular level for healing, or you can use some cryotherapy, robotic lasers, anti-gravity machines. These guys are the most advanced, and they're not going to break the bank. What you're going to do is you're going to call Dr. Mitch over at the Wellness Institute. He's going to say, come on down, bring your MRI. We'll explain what it means, and we'll tell you how to fix it. This is the key to a pain-free life. It starts with a phone call, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com. That's painisbad.com.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, we got a crash in the way. Wait a minute. It's not a crash. It's road construction, and it's blocking the right lane, 40 eastbound South Loop, right there at 65. Now, we do have a crash at Bellevue Road and Wild Iris Drive. Full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Operation Epic Fury. It is deadline day for Iran. Here's Karen Travers.
Strong words and a very alarming threat from the president in this social media post this morning. He says a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. The president goes on to say, I don't want that to happen, but it probably will.
The president has said the U.S. would hit bridges, power plants, and other civilian infrastructure if Iran does not agree to reopen the Strait of Hormuz by 7 o'clock Middle Tennessee time tonight. Meanwhile, attack on the Israeli consulate in Turkey. Tom's Sophie Burridge.
The attack was thwarted. I think that's clear to underline here. What we know is that earlier this morning, 3 gunmen attacked police guarding the Israeli consulate in Istanbul. There was a firefight which ensued. One of the gunmen was killed in that firefight. The other 2 were injured and then arrested by the Turkish authorities.
And Iran continued to launch projectiles at Israel and Gulf nations today. 17 drones intercepted in Kuwait, 22 in Saudi Arabia, 11 in the United Arab Emirates, 9 by Bahrain, and damage reported at several sites after missiles targeted central Israel. Only minor injuries were reported. Way over our heads. Today's wake-up song for the Artemis II crew, Tokyo Drifting by Denzel Curry and Glass Animals. ABC's Jim Ryan tells us about the images that Artemis II is captured.
Far from a dry, dead environment, the moon as seen by Orion is dynamic and ever-changing, a blend of subtle colors and textures. During their time in the darkness, the astronauts saw and photographed 6 bright flashes on the lunar surface, meteoroids impacting the face of the moon, creating new pockmarks and craters.
Inflation showing no signs of letting up, but the typical consumer can expect a bit of a break from the IRS. With around half of 2025 income tax returns already filed, the average refund about $350 more than last year. The tax cuts included in President Trump's spending bill went into effect in July, but because the IRS didn't update its tax tables, many workers had too much withheld from their paychecks through the end of December. That's creating refunds that are larger this year than last. And a new singer climbing the charts online, but the singer isn't human.
He's the blues singer lighting up the iTunes charts.
Time don't wait, it just carries you through.
His songs racking up hundreds of thousands of views in just a few weeks.
Watch the rest all fade away.
One comment on YouTube reads, "This song has touched the depth of my soul. But if you were hoping to see Eddie Dalton live, don't hold your breath." That's right. Eddie Dalton is generated by artificial intelligence.
Sophie Flay reporting. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Big thank you to Katherine Bergam for coming in to talk about the Great American Recovery Initiative. We appreciate that. It's good work, man, and we're saluting them for doing it and the whole of government approach to fighting addiction. I got a couple texts where people say, it's not a disease, it's a choice. I get where you're coming from, but it's also pretty hard to recover without a bit of help. You do need a hand up in those situations, and the federal government is working towards reaching that hand out to lift others up, so we appreciate them for doing that. J.D. Vance, do you know where he is? He's in Budapest right now. He's doing the Budapest stuff. What time is it in Budapest? Do you know? Is there any idea? Because I'm curious. Is this a rally for Viktor Orban? Is that what's going on? It feels like it.
It's currently 6:08 p.m. in Budapest.
Feels like a rally. So J.D. Vance is giving a big speech to the Hungarians, and he has Donald Trump on the phone.
How are you?
Hi. Hey, J.D., could you give me a second? I'm just... Wow, that's some...
Mr. President, you are on with about 5,000 Hungarian patriots, and I think they love you even more than they love Viktor Orban.
Well, I can't believe that. I can't believe that because I love Hungary and I love that Viktor. I'll tell you, he's a fantastic man. We've had a tremendous relationship, and he does a job. Remember this, he didn't allow people to storm your country and invade your country like other people have.
Facts. While the rest of Europe is dealing with a migrant/refugee crisis, which a lot of people have said is the reason why NATO allies don't want to get involved in Iran because of all the Muslims that they've allowed to flood their country. Viktor Orban in Hungary have said, no, thank you. No, thank you. Try next door, actually. Try 2 doors down and see how it works. J.D. Vance continued after speaking with the president, and very pro-Christian message.
Outside forces pressuring you or telling you what to do. I'm not telling you exactly who to vote for. But what I am telling you is that the bureaucrats in Brussels, those people should not be listened to. Listen to your hearts, listen to your souls, and listen to the sovereignty of the Hungarian people.
I mean, when you're rallying for Viktor Orban, the message being don't let Hungary turn into other European countries is a pretty powerful selling point, is it not? I think it is. I think it is.
Unlike some of the leadership of Brussels, I'm not threatening you or telling you that we're going to withhold funds to which you're legally entitled. You will make the decision about Hungary's future, just as my fellow Americans will make the decision about America's future. So I come here not in the spirit of telling you what to do. I come here in the spirit of friendship to offer a few observations about our shared civilization and how we can advance it together.
Hungry for the Hungarians is what J.D. Vance says, and it's like, look at your European allies. Look at nations near you. Would you like to become them? If you don't, here's what we need to avoid. And he goes after feminists and their policies.
Bureaucrats on both sides of the Atlantic. Now, its followers don't see Western society as flawed, yet worthy of reform. Instead, they view the very foundations of our shared civilization as illegitimate. In Western history, they don't see a proud tradition. They see only injustice. In our borders, they see exclusion and racism. In Christianity, they see not liberation, but oppression.
Truth.
And in the family, they see constraint. Their most radical members, of course, tear down monuments to our national heroes or throw buckets of fake blood on precious artworks in museums. They stage assassinations of law enforcement officers. They set fire to churches. They declare they're never going to have kids lest they increase their carbon footprint. But we, of course, we see something different, my friends. We defend our borders because we know that it's the most vulnerable among us who suffer when our streets are given over to chaos and violence. Some of them call themselves feminists, pretending they care about women. Yet it is their policies that have seen an explosion of migrant crime and sexual assault.
Toxic empathy, my friends. If you want to learn what toxic empathy is, just go look at many of the European nations. And we have to deal with a bit of toxic empathy here in America as well. We are not immune from it by any stretch of the imagination, and it all derives from that place of feminism.
Some of them call themselves feminists, pretending they care about women. Yet it is their policies that have seen an explosion of migrant crime and sexual assault against the very women they claim to protect. We believe in energy security because we don't want the least of us to be unable to afford to heat their homes or to drive themselves to work. They say they care a lot about corruption. They take it very seriously. But they turn a blind eye to the corruption of Brussels, which has seen bureaucrats become millionaires by threatening and cajoling the sovereignty of the people across this beautiful continent.
Amen. That's J.D. Vance in Budapest. Yeah, this is definitely, I mean, this is a rally for Viktor Orban. But J.D. Vance doing a fantastic job. And he also said it with no apologies that we have been shaped by Jesus Christ in our country, which is, I mean, listen, the things that J.D. Vance is saying on stage here in Budapest would get you jailed in many European nations if you weren't the vice president of the United States. And this is one of the reasons why it's so powerful for J.D. Vance to go over to Europe and say what he's saying.
We just celebrated Easter, of course, all of us. And for 2,000 years, our civilization has been shaped above all and beyond all by the sacrificial love of Jesus Christ.
Amen. I mean, the crowd loving it. The West was built on Christianity, make no mistake about it. But currently, they're dealing with the EU. And the sovereignty of Hungary is up for debate when it comes to the EU. J.D. Vance says, no, enough of that. Tell the EU to screw off.
This room understand that sovereignty and national identity are not problems. They are a necessary part of the solution. And when one country protects its sovereignty, even a country of 10 million people in the heart of Europe, it raises uncomfortable questions for those who insist there is no alternative. There is an alternative, and it's right here in Hungary. Think about this. If Hungary can secure its own borders, others can do the same thing. And if they do not, if they fail to control migration, that is by choice. If Hungary can place its own workers first, there's no reason that its neighbors can't do the same. And when they do not, that too is a choice. Viktor and this entire political leadership, they become a target as possible.
It is, and it should be. And it's worth fighting for over in Europe. J.D. Vance concluded his speech in Budapest with, I mean, the crowd loved it, standing ovation. But he asked them, will you stand against the bureaucrats in Brussels, and will you stand for sovereignty and democracy? The crowd seems to be big fans of that.
Will you stand against the bureaucrats in Brussels? Will you stand for sovereignty and democracy? Will you stand for Western civilization? Will you stand for freedom, for truth, and for the God of our fathers? then my friends, go to the polls in the weekend, stand with Viktor Orban because he stands for you and he stands for all these things. God bless Hungary and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
That's J.D. Vance in Budapest. The crowd absolutely loves it. A little truth goes a long way, and that's what J.D. Vance delivered moments ago in Europe. As this is all going on, we still have these developments in Iran taking place. There was an attack on Karg Island. Dozens of Karg Island targets have been hit as of this morning. Trey Yinks reporting on that.
The United States hit dozens of targets on Iran's Karg Island. This is the island responsible for more than 90% of Iran's oil exports. Fox's Jennifer Griffin says the targets included bunkers, radar stations, and ammunition storage. As this was taking place, the clock is ticking as it relates to that deadline President Trump laid out Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, just about 12 hours from now, before Iran must make a deal with the United States, or the president says he will order strikes against Iranian power plants and bridges. This is what the president had to say yesterday.
So the strikes are still scheduled to happen. As of right now, that 8 o'clock, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 7 Central deadline is still in place. There is reporting that the Iranian regime mouthpieces are backtracking on claims that diplomatic channels are closed with the U.S. and President Trump. They're saying that they're backtracking after the U.S. struck Karg Island. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's the fog of war, and it's just a headline that isn't really rooted in truth. I'm not exactly sure. We're going to find out together here towards the end of the day. But what we do know is that Iran has been taking some action by crowding up the bridges with women and children, and then lining a human shield of women and children in front of all of the power plants. And we know this to be true because we have seen the video of it on Iranian state TV already today. So that complicates things a bit. It does increase the optics angle of all of this, and it makes it a bit more tense. But the president's going to do what the president's going to do. We had a caller a little while ago before we had Katherine Bergam in studio, AJ, who is from Iran, and he said, you got to bomb those targets anyway. He said those women and children are so brainwashed. They are with the regime. You cannot let this go. A lot of people have said maybe this is a head fake in general from the president. Maybe he doesn't actually plan to bomb these targets. He's planning on going somewhere else, which could absolutely be the case. I mean, we've seen the way the deception has been working already, as we witnessed over the weekend with that rescue of the weapons systems officer, where they had helicopters circling an area 25 miles away from where that Wizzo was. Deception is key. Donald Trump in war seems to have his head on a swivel here, and he's making the right choices in a lot of aspects. A lot of people are getting a bit of heartburn when it comes to the conflict. We'll talk about it a little bit more on the way. We'll take some of your phone calls as well, 615-737-9986, and then we'll jump into the lightning round. A lot to get to, a little bit of time, 11:21. This is Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. And Busy Bee has just brought a awesome deal to the table. It's called the Spring Breathe Easy Package, and it's designed to help you clear out the dust, the allergens, and the pet dander before the summer heat arrives. This powerful package includes an AC tune-up, plus a professional indoor air quality check to make sure you and your family are breathing the healthiest, cleanest air possible. You'll also receive duct inspections and premium air duct cleaning, which is going to remove the built-up debris hiding deep inside your system. But that's not all. Busy Bee is also going to install a whole home germicidal system to help reduce those airborne contaminants. And with premium service, you'll get a bonus unit fog deodorizer, leaving your system so fresh and so clean, just like spring itself. Now, you're going to get all this value for $11.99 on 1.5 to 3 ton systems, regularly $1,800, or $15.99 for 3.5 to 5 ton units, regularly $20.99. Take advantage of this deal today. You won't regret it. 615-775-7833. That's 615-775-7833. Or find them online, busybhvac.com.
All right, drivers, we got stuff slowing us down. Right now, downtown, Rolling Roadblock has the right lane blocked to fix potholes. 40 eastbound. They're at the 4th Avenue, 2nd Avenue, exit 210C. And in Rutherford County, construction work, 24 eastbound at Epps Mill Road. That's a 39-minute delay going 24 eastbound there through Christiana. Deadline day for Iran. We'll tell you about that coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. We got Mason Fleming producing. He's doing an okay job. Ken's doing a bang-up job.
I'm banging it up.
You're banging it up. Did you guys have fun yesterday? I heard you guys jacked Mandis's bit. Like, what are you doing? So Mandis is running Mandis's Morning Moron.
Right.
And then I listened to the Matt Murphy show for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
And I hear this new segment called Nincompoops in the News. I mean, are you guys just blatantly ripping off Dan? Is that what you're doing in the afternoons?
You're going to get Jackson fired up, Brother Chris.
I'm not worried. Have you heard his King Jackson commercial?
Yes.
So my sons heard that yesterday.
Yeah.
And they said, "So is Jackson your boss?" And I was like, "What? Why would you think that?" They're like, "Well, because he's King Jackson." No. He said he's not. He's a very nice guy. He's a very nice guy.
Brother Jackson takes that nincompoops in the news very seriously.
He does. Yeah. I mean, you've only done it like once or twice since Dan started doing it, so I don't know why he's so upset.
I can't believe he hasn't retrieved the crown from the anchor booth.
We're gonna have to talk to him later on today. I'll pass him in the hallway and I'll say, "What are you doing? Stealing Mandis's bits?" just to get under his skin. That's what I'm doing from now on. I'm gonna refer to that as you guys stealing from Mandis. Because I think it's funnier.
You're just stirring the pot.
I think it's way funnier. So that's what I'm gonna do.
That was a great idea Dan came up with. Why are you guys
Dan had an awesome idea. So yesterday, did you? I listen. I don't believe the first phone call to the moon. I don't. You can make the argument that we got there. That's fine. I'll let you make that argument. I've heard Matt talking about it. I don't believe that there was a phone call. I think that was fake news, propaganda purposes.
You mean you're talking about back in the day?
Yeah, where Nixon's on the phone with him.
I
your boy did an awesome job.
No, you don't understand. The landline cord was all the way out there.
They just, it was like they did the tin can and the string. And that's how they were able to communicate. I do believe that President Trump was on a phone call with the astronauts on Artemis yesterday.
Absolutely.
Did you see that? And they loved it. They were downright giddy. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll see the astronauts reacting in real time to President Trump as he gave him a phone call.
Very special hello to Artemis 2. Today you've made history and made all America really proud, incredibly proud. We have a lot of things to be proud of lately, but this is there's nothing like what you're doing, circling around the moon for the first time in more than a half a century and breaking the all-time record for the farthest distance from planet Earth. Humans have really never seen anything quite like what you're doing in a manned spacecraft. It's really special. I want to personally salute and congratulate Commander Reed Weissman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. And I also want to thank the entire amazing team at NASA, headed by Jared, who's a very special guy, by the way, and
so everybody's very excited, right? Like all the astronauts are fist bumping.
Right.
I mean, they think this is pretty cool. It's the bee's knees. The president is on the phone, but there's a Canadian on the ship. Did you know that?
Yes.
So first of all, not a fan. Get your own ship. Like do it on your own. Do it on your own, or become the 51st state. But I do have a feeling. I do have a feeling the Canadian on the ship could become American very soon.
He's going to defect.
After what he said, I don't even know if he's going to defect. They're going to kick him out.
Right up there on the way home.
They're going to say, just stay there. Stay in America, traitor. Because he basically kissed the rump of President Trump. Like, I mean, he puckered up and he was like, sir, what you've done for Canada is amazing.
Oh. And while I have the microphone, sir, I just want to thank you on behalf of Canada. The space leadership you spoke of from America truly is extraordinary. I've said this many times before. A nation that leads like that and creates and sets big goals for humanity that brings other countries along with it is truly incredible. And I know that's a very intentional, not a necessary decision, intentional decision to lead by example and to allow other countries like Canada to share our gifts and help you achieve these mutually beneficial goals, like establishing a presence on the moon and eventually going to Mars. And Canadians are so proud to be a part of this program.
Well, I have to say I spoke to a very special person, Wayne Gretzky, who I think you know, the great one. And I spoke to your prime minister and many other friends I have in Canada. They are so proud of you. And you have a lot of courage. I'm not sure if they'd want to do that. I'm not even sure if the great one would want to do that, to be honest with you. But you have a lot of courage doing what you're doing, a lot of bravery and a lot of genius. But they're very, very proud of you.
So that's the president. I love. Can I just say, I love that he says I spoke to someone very special.
Yeah.
And then he drops Wayne Gretzky before the prime minister. Yes. I hope you know. Wayne is thrilled. He's
as he should.
He's the real leader of Canada, and everybody knows it. Mark Carney is just a suit and a chair. Wayne,
just to figure out at this point.
Wayne Gretzky calls the shots in Canada.
He is the master troller, dude.
Dude, it's so funny. So Canada took an L, and I think we gained an astronaut. 11:31, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. And drivers, that delay is growing there. If you're 24 eastbound through Rutherford County, it is a 47-minute delay for some construction work. 24 eastbound at Epps Mill Road. That is exit 89 there in Christiana. Operation Epic Fury, deadline day for Iran. Here's Karen Travers.
Yesterday, he set this 8 p.m. Eastern time deadline tonight for Iran to make a deal, reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or else, he said, the entire country could be demolished. He is threatening to go after the power plants there, to target all of the bridges. And yesterday, he made it very clear he wants to see a deal. And he was asked, does it have to be a deal? Is it reopening the strait or both? And he indicated it is both.
Way over our heads. Artemis 2 update.
The 3 men and 1 woman who cruised across the dark side of the moon yesterday are still reveling in the experience. While it's still fresh in the astronauts' minds, scientists on the ground today will interview them, gathering their technical observations about the part of the moon we never see and their human impressions as well. The simple question: what was it like?
Yeah, NASA has shared additional photos of the far side of the moon taken during the lunar flyby yesterday. And a new CDC report finds less than half of American adults get enough exercise, which is supposed to work out to about 2.5 hours per week. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton says there are a lot of ways to get that movement in.
30 minutes a day, 5 times a week is really quite simple, and you can break it up however you want. You can do 2 15-minute walks, 3 10-minute walks. If you don't have a path, you can use the stairs.
He says 150 minutes of moderate exercise a week can see lower risk of heart disease, dementia, and diabetes. And where do people tip the most and the least? ABC's Sherry Preston has the numbers.
According to the restaurant technology platform Toast, the worst tippers are in some of the most traditionally liberal areas. Worst in the nation, California, followed by Washington, D.C. and Washington State, where tips average less than 18%. Delaware, West Virginia, New Hampshire, and Indiana diners are the best tippers, leaving approximately 21%. When it comes to tipping at fast food joints, when you get the little notice asking if you want to leave any tip at all, most diners leave just under 16%. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Zero Res Nashville. You guys know that my wife and I, we love Zero Res. We got 4 kids and 2 dogs running around the house, and we're always looking for things that will make the house healthier, especially this time of year when we're coming out of cold and flu season. I'll be honest, we also have baseball season starting, and you've been hearing me talk about baseball season, and that means that we got a lot of red dirt coming in the house, and it goes right to the carpets, even though we ask the boys to take their cleats off in the garage. They don't. They never do. When the boys are unreliable, you know who's reliable for us? My friends at Zero Res. What stands out to me is they don't use harsh chemicals. They are the Maha of carpet cleaning. Their exclusive ZR water, no harsh chemicals, no soap residue left behind. The carpets are clean, but it's also safe for the family and for the pets. So if you lose a Cheeto on the carpet, well, 5-second rule applies. It's the Maha idea of carpet cleaning. We love it. The difference is obvious right away. The carpets look better, feel softer, and they dry faster than any cleaning you'll ever have done elsewhere. And I'm not the only one noticing. The reviews for Zero Res are through the roof. Right now, they're running 2- and 3-room carpet specials. So give them a call today and take advantage of it. 615-535-9376. Excuse me as I choke. But I get choked up about carpet cleaning. I do. And these guys are really special. 615-535-9376. ZeroResNashville.com. 39 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. I think a lot of people are just finding out for the first time there's a Canadian on Artemis 2. What? Dehydrated poutine for everybody.
What?
Do you think they would do dehydrated poutine for them?
I hope not. That just sounds gross.
You got to dehydrate everything, right?
Yeah.
Isn't all the food dehydrated?
Or dried out.
Or have I just been propagandized as a kid?
With dehydrated ice cream and whatnot?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't you remember that? They'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, it's space food, guys.
Oh, it's so good. Try it. It's weird.
It's a dehydrated ice cream sandwich. And you're like, this is awful.
Yeah.
I'll take 2 more. That's it.
Oh, gosh. I can't remember his name, but the astronaut that's from Mount Juliet.
Butch.
Yes. That was going to run for governor for a little bit there.
Is he still running for governor?
I think he backed out.
What?
I'm not sure. I'm not keeping up fully.
Ken, are you keeping score? Is Butch still running for governor?
Is old Butch running for governor?
No, there was an issue with his residency. Because he was an astronaut, he apparently had a home down in Houston, Texas, and not one here in the amount of time that he would have needed to get onto the ballot.
I thought you were going to say he had residency on the moon, so he couldn't apply
he spent too much time out in space. Yeah.
And that wasn't even his fault.
Yeah.
No. Wasn't it Joe Biden?
Yeah.
Watch it.
So we played this clip a minute ago of President Trump getting just absolutely glazed by the Canadian on the ship.
And while I have the microphone, sir, I just want to thank you on behalf of Canada. The space leadership you spoke of from America truly is extraordinary. I've said this many times before. A nation that leads like that and creates and sets big goals for humanity that brings other countries along with it is truly incredible. And I know that's a very intentional, not a necessary decision, intentional decision to lead by example and to allow other countries like Canada to share our gifts and help you achieve these mutually beneficial goals, like establishing a presence on the moon and eventually going to Mars. And Canadians are so proud to be a part of this program.
Well, I have to say I spoke to a very special person, Wayne Gretzky, who I think you know, the great one. And I spoke to your prime minister and many other friends I have in Canada. They are so proud of you.
The prime minister doesn't even get a name drop.
And many others.
So as people are finding out that there's a Canadian on the ship, I got a text. Who sent me this text? I forget who sent it to me. But it was hilarious. Oh, Ben sent it in. Ben texted this in. If you're watching on the stream, it's a picture of the 4 astronauts, but the Canadian one has a Terrence and Phillip head over his face.
That's so good.
If you ever watch South Park, the Canadians, they have the bouncing heads. That's how you know they're Canadian. Blame Canada. So thank you, Ben, for the picture. That made my day.
Thank you for your service.
We appreciate you. Salute. You know what time it is?
I think I know what time it is.
Well, then tell the people what time it is.
It's the lightning round.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
All right, one more Canada thing. Just one more.
Is it making fun of Canada a little bit?
It is.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Steve texted in. He said, what do you call it when a Canadian gets launched into space? A good start. Oh, that's a nasty one. That's a nasty one.
Nasty.
And then 7422 said, astronauts drink Tang. Nothing else.
You're fired. Get out.
Is it just the powder? Would the Tang also need to be dehydrated?
I mean, they probably just send like the powdered version that they sell in stores.
They're just freebasing Tang up there.
Dry scooping Tang.
I'm taking it raw.
Raw or nothing. That's all I want.
You're a guy with an Ovaltine problem.
Every time he coughs or talks, just powdered Tang.
I can stop anytime I want to. All right, dude.
It's not an addiction.
Chill.
Hey, bud, it's okay.
All right, first story in the lightning round. All right, this is scary, and I didn't know this was part of the plan.
Which plan?
Well, a part of the far right's plan.
Oh.
Obviously.
And
this is, I mean, Joy Reid exposed this, and I'm so grateful for her doing this. She laid out the exact game plan of, I would say the insidious, evil, game plan of far-right extremists. Are you prepared?
The fascists of the far right?
The fascists, the Gestapos, the Nazis. You know what I'm talking about?
The stupid bigots.
Some might say that.
Some might.
Some might.
Some might.
So Joy Reid, I think I might have to turn into a Democrat after this. I'll be honest with you.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back.
Is that a bad thing?
I don't think so.
No income taxes, no regulation, earn as much money as you want, and then your family gets to inherit it all.
Yeah, leave it to your kids.
That's the evil game plan?
Oh, dastardly.
Who told her?
Oh, no.
Who told her? Why did you think it was okay to we're going to find the leaker. We're going to find the leaker, and we're going to hold him accountable. Who let Joy Reid know?
I cannot stand for this.
This was supposed to be secret, guys. This wasn't supposed to be out in the open.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back.
Yeah, that is the world I want back. Still upset that somebody told Joy Reid.
Mission compromised.
Mission compromised, 100%.
Might as well follow through.
Well, I think we have to now.
I think if we don't, then we're cowards.
Yeah, that's the extreme game plan of the right. Next story in the lightning round, you want to do the extreme game plan of the left?
Oh, boy.
Do you know that there's a guy running for Senate in Maine? His name is Graham Plantner. Graham's got a Nazi tattoo.
Shocker.
He's also endorsed by Elizabeth Warren, who is very upset about the cross tattoo that Pete Hegseth has.
I saw that yesterday. Oh, what a shame. Pete Hegseth has cross tattoos on him.
But the guy with the Nazi tattoo, that's fine. He said that he was overseas and that he was drinking with the boys, and he picked a scary one off the wall.
Simple mistake.
He had no idea.
Yeah.
He had no idea.
Those flash tattoos, they get you.
You know, how was I supposed to know those were SS Thunderbolts? I thought that was a lightning round tattoo. I got that.
Real big fan of the Chris Ann show.
I got that to commemorate the lightning round. How am I supposed to know? What? Me and Mason got matching.
Whoa,
we didn't even know.
We didn't even know.
So anyway.
Didn't know.
The Nazi tattoo guy that's running for the Senate in Maine. Joy Reid thinks that zero income tax, zero regulation on business, make as much as you want, leave it to your family is extreme. This is a kind of reality that we can't go back to. Let's hear about the plans that the left are laying out for everyone to hear on stage. Democrat Senate candidate from Maine, Graham Plantner.
There is structural power in the Senate to deal with the Supreme Court. It's going to matter. It's going to require us to get the majority. But at that point, I very much think that we need to be exercising ethics oversight over the court. If we held Supreme Court justices to the exact same standards we hold federal judges, there is a compelling case for the impeachment and removal of at least two.
Now, listen, I don't like Amy Coney Barrett and Ketanji Brown Jackson as much as the next guy, but I don't know. I don't know about impeaching him. He says we can.
But to make that happen, we need to elect people to the Senate that want to wield power like that, who understand that power matters.
Wow, says the guy with the Nazi tattoo. No red flags there.
Nah, none at all.
No red flags. Also, maybe it's just me. The mustache that he's sporting gives off a little rapey vibes.
I was going to say, this is the weirdest comedy show I've ever seen a recording of.
Yeah, open mic night is weird in Maine.
Yeah, the casual flannel.
Yeah, what is he? He's like a Nazi Fetterman.
Don't do that to John Fetterman.
I apologize. I apologize to John.
Thank you.
I stand by the rapey mustache.
No, that's fair. It was like that, or it's a weird town hall meeting that the guy just finally took the stage instead and was like, I'm just going to talk.
He looks like he's like a homeless guy that drinks himself to death. Right?
Probably not wrong on the drinking part.
Like he's a couple MD 2020s away from a good night.
He's definitely played Edward 40 Hands Alone.
100%. Next story in the lightning round. More crazy, more Democrats. This one is Gavin Newsom's partner.
Ooh.
It's Jennifer Newsom, right?
Probably. I don't keep up with his spouses, whoever they are. I don't assume.
Is Trump Jr. still canoodling with Guilfoyle? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. That's a weird dynamic.
I hope not.
Like, that was always a weird dynamic to me.
Let's pull back.
Let's step back. Let's focus on the current spouse.
Hey, Junior.
Of Gavin Newsom. Jennifer Newsom. She's worried. She is scared. And I don't blame her. This is a terrifying outcome. Young boys, young men, are getting online, and they're becoming, brace yourself, more conservative.
Wow. Boys, we all know, I think, are increasingly realizing that boys are moving away from sort of the more progressive boys that spend time online are moving a little bit. I'm trying not to be political here, but are moving to the right.
Oh my gosh. You know what they need? More tranny cartoons. That's what they need.
Yeah, keep them on our left side with the confusion of
tranny cartoons.
Tranny cartoons.
We need more Transformers. They already made that, but more of an emphasis. We need more Megatran.
And being sort of influenced by the Andrew Tates and some of that sort of alt-right socialization online that we know is very, very dangerous. My husband and I were alarmed when our kids were watching sports online, and my son knew about Andrew Tate.
It's terrifying. Are you surprised, though? Wasn't Gavin Newsom the same one who, on the Gavcast with Charlie Kirk, said, my son loves watching your content? Yeah, that's right. But they're shocked. They're stunned.
And thought he was pretty cool and thought that his Republican grandfather, who's not a Trumper, but a fiscal conservative, thought that my father would like Andrew Tate.
Got really weird when Grandpa said based and passed him a beer. But he's not a Trumper.
So that's scary. We're like one of the most progressive households, and our son is confused and asking all these questions.
What kind of confusion would you rather have? Would you rather have a son that's wondering which size tampon is right for him, or a son that's watching conservative memes on the internet? I know which one I would choose, and I know which one feels more confusing. Maybe that's just me.
Absolutely. Those regular sized tampons.
Adequately sized. They need to be adequate.
These questions. We're working on legislation to hold tech companies accountable and help them be a force for good in our kids and families' lives, to really provide all the best in class resources and support for youth so that they don't go down this rabbit hole of very, very dangerous and limiting narratives around ultimately what it means to be a girl and what it means to be a boy.
I mean, if you let this go unchecked, and this is real talk, if you let this right-wing ecosystem on the internet go unchecked and we don't hold tech companies accountable, I mean, next thing you know, you're going to have young men in this country who want a 0% income tax, 0% regulation, and they're going to want to earn as much money as humanly possible, and they're going to want to leave it to their family. And this is something that we can't allow to happen. So we need to cut it off immediately. I stand with Jennifer Newsom. Thank you for joining me on my TED Talk. That's all I got. It's scary.
It is scary.
It's 11:54. Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. 11:59, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Mason Fleming producing, Ken Weaver in the newsroom, Chad Benson in studio. You know what he walks in and says to me? Raccoons are aliens. That's what he said. That's the first thing he said to me. I was like, I went, Glockstore.com, and he went, you hear raccoons are aliens?
Yeah, they are. That's what I heard, all right? That's the new conspiracy, along with nukes aren't real. Is that what you said? That's another conspiracy?
It's not a conspiracy.
Yeah.
That's the word.
That is the word.
A lot of people are wondering if the astronauts on Artemis 2 will be able to see the explosions from space.
I was thinking that. I so thought, man, they're just in time to see the world catch fire.
What if the timing is terrible and, like, they could have, but the Earth rotated?
What if the time is terrible that everything's on fire and they're like, we don't want to stop. We don't want to go back there.
Would you consider that a bummer? Like, you would have been able to if you were on the other side.
Well, you wouldn't say it out loud, but to your friends, you're like, well, it would have been interesting to see. I mean, from here.
Would have been cool, right?
Yeah, you know, it wouldn't have been cool, but it would have been something you could have been like, oh, my God, you could have seen it.
I think seeing it from space would have been cool.
Well, until you find out all the disaster that comes with it.
I'm not going to pretend it wouldn't be. By the way, did you hear the Canadian on the ship glazing Trump?
The Canadian. They let him speak first yesterday.
He's like, can I please get citizenship? He's like, no.
No, not going to happen.
We like you, but not that much.
I don't know. You're lucky you're up there.
What are you talking about today?
Oh, it's Hot Take Tuesday. We'll do some fun stuff. Werewolves in Oklahoma.
Raccoons are aliens? Werewolves in Oklahoma. Ken knows about the
Yes, he does.
Werewolves.
Yes, he does.
Well, we'll be listening. It's 12:01 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.